eModels.co.uk. Make something awesome.
Shut up and sit down.
Gang calling here, Festa 67's workshop. Welcome to part 3 of the Tamiya Honda CBR 1000RR build for our good friends eModels up in the corner there on the left. So if you want to grab yourself one of these kits, have a look at the link in the video, pop over to the guys at eModels, order one in, and you can build along with me. So in this episode we're going to button up some of the other sub-assemblies and get them all built. So we'll just be joining bits together, gluing them, and then putting them on the sticks ready for priming. Yes folks, priming. Excuse me. So I'm just denubbing the airbox there. I'll just put the cover back on them bad boys. Quick scoop with a sander to get rid of the nubs. And on this one, be careful, there's a couple of little lugs on the inside edge. So don't do what I'm about to do and glue it together. Make sure you trim them off first, because you'll have to do a stealth take apart just to get rid of them. So don't be like Festa and make that mistake of not reading in the instructions. Just have a quick check on this section. I'm noticing it now in my magnifier, so I'm just about to lose the lugs. So we'll get rid of those bad boys, and then we can successfully now put a dab of glue around the edges, just like that. See, I make the mistakes in me builds so that you don't have to, folks. So yeah, don't be like me. Read that manual. I know it's a man thing, we think we don't need instructions, but yeah. So just pop that in there in my stick holder of goodness, and we'll just scoot along now and start doing bits of the body, the fenders, mud guards, whatever you want to call them, depending on what side of the pond you live on. So we'll snip these off and get these joined together, because there's a good bit of de-seaming. Let's lose that, because that will fly off. There you go, that's the other one we want. This is going to have a seam right down the middle of it, which is quite annoying really, but with a stealth bit of a gluing, squeezage and sanding, you'll make it disappear. So this is the back section of the tank. There's two sections to the tank, folks. One part covers the ECU and electronics at the front, and then this is the rear quarter, or the rear 3/4 of the tank. So we'll just run the sander there, because where my thumb is, there is an horrible mould line that goes right around the perimeter of this, so you'll want to get shot of that. So have a good look at it in your instructions and in your own building room, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Now I normally spray grey primer over these parts so that I can use it as a contrast colour, and I then resand all the body panels until the primer disappears. It's done for a reason, it just gives me a contrast colour. But these will be primed white, and then yellow will go down before the red, because it just makes the red pop. So everything's going to get grey primer at first, but I want to come back at all the body panels and give them a sand, a buff and all of that lot. So I'm deliberately greying them over in case folks are going, oh, why are you painting them in grey primer? It's just my way that I do it. It works for me. So I just put that in place, and it comes in really useful for the mud guards, because where you're doing a D-seam, as you're sanding, if you see a grey line right down the middle, that means the seam is still there, so you need to add more filler or putty or sprue goo, whichever way you go. So contrast grey against white does work. So let's just nip off any additional lugs. I might leave them slightly proud of the plastic, because as the glue melts it should then pull some of that plastic into any gaps, so that's the plan. If not, I can always knock it back when I sand the mudguard smooth. So we'll just go round the mudguard, nip off any bits and bobs, and then we should do a dry fit then and be ready to go. There's a couple of little pig's ears poking out there, that we won't need, so let's get rid of those. One. There should be another one at the bottom of this one. There it is. Get a shot of that. Bosh. There you go. Put the cover on them just so that I don't drop them. Right, let's do a quick dry fit just to see initially what we're looking like. But you'll see right down the middle there is a humongous seam. Now that's going to be gone. Now at this stage the noobs amongst us might be thinking, how the hell's that going to happen? Well, we put some white cap glue on, nice and thick, and this is the key. It goes against everything we're taught. Oh, don't put too much glue on, but on this occasion you want a nice big thick wodge of it on there. So when you slap it together like that and give it a squeeze, it oozes out. And let it, don't be tempted to rub your finger along the used glue or anything. Just let it squish out and dry, because that is what you sand back to lose the seam, folks. So just let it squeeze out. You will be tempted to quickly go, oh no, it's spilling, quick, get rid of it. Nah, leave it. And this now is just piecing together quite nicely. I just want to check the front edge to make sure that it's smooth and it's not slightly further forward one side than the other. So I'll use my magnifier, but I'm happy with that. So let's have a look what else we can get off the sprues today. We're going to have the front forks. We can get them off like that. There you go. Just put that back in my sprue holder. Like so. And then we can proceed now just to go round and denub it. Have a look for mould lines. There will be some. And you can scrape them back as well with either a blunt scalpel blade, edge side down. You can use sanding sticks. I tend to use a Citadel scraper to run along the seams to initially knock them back, and then I then go over it with a sander and a buffer. So that's my scraper. It does the same job as what a blunt blade will do, but you want it edge on so that you're not slicing chunks out. You don't want to slice it, you want to scrape it. That's the key. So angle the blade slightly away from you and then draw it towards you, like I'm doing there. And it will just scrape off minuscule, tiny amounts, and that's all you want. Just run it along. Get rid of all those horrible mould lines. And then, like I say, you can just quickly scoot round her with a buffer. And she will look gorgeous, mate. Look like Cinderella's thighs going to the ball, it will. Nice and smooth. Like so. There you go. Look at that. Yeah, have you some of that. Okay, and just keep the forks against your fingers so you're not putting too much stress on the plastic. There you go. Put that down on there. Get me buffer, and then we can just buff everything and smooth it down. And I'm just using different grades of sander until I get to a nice smooth one. So let's chop some bits and bobs off of here. Let's go for the belly pan halves, get them in, because they'll get joined together at some point. Part of me thinks to paint them separately, and the other part's thinking, no, join these two halves together because of a seam. So initially I'll probably just put them on the peg board, but I think I'll come back and join them together and just see how things pan on this episode. I just want to get as many bits off the sprues at this stage as I can. just basically try and get everything in the spray booth to get grey primed. I know it's primed then, and then I can go back and put on black bases, white primers, that sort of thing. So yeah, there's method to my madness, honest. I think anyway. There might be people that disagree with that, but there's madness to my method. Yeah, there you go. That's better. Right. Again, keep an eye out on these, because inside all these body panels there'll be ejector pin marks. Now, you want to get rid of them, because it's going to happen. You'll line of sight, you'll look at the bike when it's all together and painted, and you'll go, I wish I'd got rid of that ejector pin mark. So get rid of them at this stage. Just use your scrapers, your knife blades or whatever, and work your way around the edges of the circular ejector pin marks. And then just use tiny little bits of sandpaper, and then you can just deftly get rid of them, smooth them back, because that's kind of what you want to do. So that when you put the, I tend to flat black the inside of all my fairings. So you don't want an ejector pin mark, because it will stick out like a blind cobbler's thumb. It's not great. So time spent at this stage, folks, saves years of heartache whenever you look at the model. Because we all do it. We get them down every now and then. We do motorbike races round the bench, brum brum noises and all of that lot. And then we end up having a wibble because we didn't do an ejector pin mark. Well, I do anyway. Hopefully I'm not the only one who has motorcycle races around my bench with my models. Alright, let's have a look at the destructions and see what's next, shall we? Dum, 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 dum. Yeah, let's just have a quick shufty around. Put some bits and bobs back. There you go. Try and keep my bench a bit tidier. And should we do brakes? Yeah, let's do brakes and all the engine covers and get bits and bobs off the sprues. Right. So we got rear brake, and I'm just pushing the clips through the centre of the rear brake and putting it there. And then once they've been grey primed, I then sand them by putting them on the end of my Dremel mandrel. And it just gives the brakes a bit of a worn look. And then I'll go over it then with the black base. So yeah, let's get this sanded, get the edges of that done. Make it look nice and sweet. Put that in there. And then we can grab some bits off the other sprues and get them in. That's the mud guard, or the hugger. Now I'm going to decal wrap this. Yes, folks. I'm going to decal wrap it in carbon fibre. Now I've got another sheet of carbon fibre somewhere that I can't find that is a smaller weave. So I'm going to put the bigger weave on first, just to show you the process. But it's not going to be the finished carbon fibre. This is just to show you the process, or as much of the process as we can. And I will then probably find the weave I'm looking for and then go, right, yeah, let's put that on. So bear with me. I'll start off with a bit of the old decal solution, and then we'll decal wrap this. But it's one of them. I've been looking for me really small carbon fibre weave, and I've only been able to find sheets of this stuff. So my mind is telling me that if I wrap it now, as soon as I've done it and open the drawer to put my carbon fibre back, I'll probably find the other sheet I'm looking for. But this is an easy process anyway. It looks harder than it is, but the key is these are my own decals that I print, but I plastic coat them with a clear sealer, folks, and it enables me to grab hold of the decal, as you can see, and really stretch the bejesus out of it. A bit like decal wrapping a real car, where you warm it up, you stretch it, make it more pliable. And this is all I'm doing. In the mug, the Motorhead mug there, is very warm water. It's not boiling hot, but it's very warm. And every now and then I'll dip the decal and the piece in there just to warm it back up. So, but it works, and all you're trying to do at the moment is just initially sit the decal down. Don't worry too much about the final finish. This is just to get some of it on there, go around and cut off any excess and remove that, and then come back at it with the stronger solutions. There's a normal, strong and extra strong solution there, and these are the Ultimate Modelling Products decal solutions. You can get them from my sponsor, eModels. That's the full set there. That's normal, strong and extra strong, and they really are a good solution. So I'm using the normal at first just to get the decal on there, and then I progressively go up then into strong and extra strong. The strong will be next, a bit like a micro sole, and that will let the decal start heating up and conforming, and then I leave it overnight, and then I'll go back at it with the extra strong then just to sit them final bits down. And that's my little secret. Well, it's not a secret now, is it? But yeah, that's how I decal wrap me stuff. I've done many decal wraps over the years, and yeah, plan on doing a few more. Because originally on this bike I was going to decal wrap the entire bike in carbon fibre decal, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought it's going to be overkill. So yeah, so I'm doing this as a regular outer box paint job, but I just thought I'll have my little touch. I'll just decal wrap the hugger. So yeah, and not only that, you know, it's a nice little build for eModels, and not everyone watching this will have built or done decal wraps or that sort of thing. I want to try and keep my eModels build series to new people to the hobby, and people with you know, like me, with average model skills that we can all learn together with, and then we can all grow with each other as our skills improve. So we can just start now working any bubbles out, any really excessive amounts of the decal, and just pull them off, get rid of them, and gradually this will start shrinking to the shape of the actual plastic piece. Doesn't look like it at the moment, but it will. This is the difficult stage of wrapping. This is where you look at it and go, this ain't working, I'm going to throw it away. No, stick with it, people. It will work. Believe me, trust me. There you go, and I'll just use my sanding stick against the edge there to cut that off. Look at that. See, straight away, improvement. It's much easier to get your decal to an edge that you know is going to joint to something, and just quickly at a 45-degree angle, whop your sander along the edge of it, and it acts as a knife. And do it away from the piece rather than towards it. That way your decal won't wrinkle up then. I'm just going in with some slightly stronger decal solution, and this now will start getting this decal to conform to the curves, the nooks, the crannies of the hugger. And that's pretty much all I'm going to be doing, backwards and forwards with decal solution. Add a little bit, let's do a bit of smoothing, let it dry, have another look at it, see how it's looking. If I see any bits I don't like, then I go at it with the extra strong. And it is it's a labour of love. It's not a quick 5-minute process, although it looks it on camera. It is sped up quite a bit. And just take your time, folks. And I learned how to do this by decal wrapping greebles, you know, spare car bonnets, or, you know, a section of a model. We all have a model mule in the studios that we tried different techniques on, you know. Normally it's something from an old starter set or something, but I used to have odd car body panels and things, and I used to just put decal wraps on them just to see whether the technique would work, and that's how I learned how to do it. see, we just flick that all around. We know that's going to come off and go over that edge, so we just wrap that straight round it now, like so, like a Christmas present. And then put a load of strong on there, and that will bite all of that. And then once it's gone on, we then come back at it with the sanding stick, folks. Give it a trimmage. But all in all, it gives you an idea of what can be done. And bear in mind, I will change the carbon fibre on this for the one I'm really, really looking for. So, yeah. We can get a shot of that out of the way. Put that in the bin. Don't need that bit. And that is pretty much the stage one of getting a decal wrap on. There you go. Put that piece on there. And bring that round the edge. Trim it. Get rid of that bit. Don't want that. Deft bit of work with the sander. Apologies for being in the corner, folks. It's just I've got my magnifying glass just to me left, and I'm looking through my lens of let's make things super big because you're blind and old and decrepit, Festa. Yeah. I need to figure out a way of being able to do that, but stay on camera, and I haven't quite mastered it yet. The last time I tried, the lens kept coming into camera shot, so I need to figure out a way of doing it. I might put both boom arms right next to each other and have the magnifier just behind the camera, so I can just dip behind the camera. I don't know, we'll see. Or just above it. Need to figure it out. Because, yeah. Can't keep going off shot, can I? It's not on. I'm just sanding the edge of the decal off at the moment, folks. Just working my way around the hugger, just to get any excess carbon off, and as you can see, it's pretty much conforming. Now, this is stage 2, where I'm putting the extra strong on now, just to really melt the decal into place. So we're definitely running our brush of solution around the lower edges, because it comes from a curve into a flat flange that then mounts to the swing arm. So you've got quite a lot of curves going into flat surfaces, so you want to really sit that decal in there. So that's what the extra strong is for, and it really does a great job. I'm so glad Sergeant Bones put me onto these solutions, because yeah, I do a lot of the wraps, and they've enabled me to up my game a bit with it and do bigger and better decal wraps, full body decal wraps and things. If I bung that on the back of my hand, you can see how that's beginning to take shape. And that's the stage we leave it at for now and let the stuff do its job. And as you can see, I found my sheet of carbon fibre, folks, so I've gone back and removed the one I had just filmed, and I've put the other sheet on now, because it's a nice smaller weave and a bit blacker, and I just thought it looked a little bit better and a bit more to scale, because the other sheet was 24th scale and this is 12th scale. So yeah, so I'm able now to really go at it, and this is basically repeating what you've just seen, but with the correct decal. I told you I'd find it. I was going to edit it out so that you didn't know I'd made a boo-boo, but no, we all make mistakes, and rather than hide mistakes, I like to keep them in there and mock myself, really, because we're only human peeps. But yeah, Festa found his proper decal sheet, and he's happy now, and the bottom lip's gone away, and yeah, so I'm happier now. And it's just the same process: normal solution, strong solution, and then extra strong. I think it does look a bit sexier now that it's the right decal wrap. That's what I think anyway. What would I know? Let's put the pin back in because I'm bound to stab myself with it. Put that on there. And that should now start melting into place, doing its thing. I just want to put a bit of extra strong on there because I've spotted a slight crease. Don't want that. So let's go over it with a bit of extra strong just to get it to agitate a bit more. Trying to put my fingers on it in a way that's not going to wrinkle the decal. So, and then it's knowing then to just push it to one side and say, right, I'm going to leave it and not tinker with it. Because once it does start melting, it becomes very, very brittle. And that's when you'll have issues. So just push it to one side now and leave it. Right, let's see what else we can grab off of here. Probably chop down some of the damn sprues at some point, because when it comes to priming, a lot of the smaller parts I'm just going to keep on the sprues and prime that whole complete section of sprues. So let's just have a look at what we got that we can put on clips, and then, as I say, the rest of it will just go straight off of the sprues. Dum 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 dum. We are looking for the suspension, if I remember rightly. It's not on there. Let's go for, there you go. That's what we're after. We're after that. And probably with, I think there's a metal insert that goes in there with some poly caps as well. So we'll just get all the little bits off. D-nub. Get rid of all the little bits and bobs that we don't want on there. Like so. And this is the fiddly stage. This is where the carpet monster starts licking his lips because he's now thinking, oh, dinner time. So there's a trick, folks. Grab an old bit of sprue, chop a couple of bits off and just flick it on the floor next to your chair. That way the carpet monster's been fed, and hopefully then you don't drop anything. It's reverse psychology. This is the Festa book of how to beat the carpet monster. It sometimes works for me, not all the time. As my mates will tell you, I am known to be spending hours on the floor looking for bits, but every now and then I just try to beat me carpet monster, and that's my latest attempt. Cut a bit of sprue and throw it on the deck because it saves you having to pick bits up. You never know, folks, it might work. If it does, let me know. If it saves you the hassle I have, just let me know. I'm intrigued. This is a bit of research I'm doing for furthering model makers' lives. It's benefit. I'm doing my bit to help you all. Yeah. Right. Let's have a look at how these go together. Quick dry fit. Yeah. Got that sussed. So we can try and put the poly caps in now without dropping them. Now this is where it's going to go wrong probably for me, because these are tiny. They really are ickle. And yeah. So fingers crossed I'll be all right. I'm sitting here doing this thinking, oh my God, that's gone well. What's going to go wrong? Because normally they are the things that go flying out and you never see them again. So I'm going to put a peg of grippage on there. Now these are little clothes pegs, or not ordinary wooden clothes pegs, but I've spun them round and put the clips back on, and they make brilliant little nips. Especially if you're building aircraft wings or anything like that, or anything with a flange seam, you can bung these along the seam and they just nip a tiny little edge. They're like little crocodile's grip. That's the best way of describing it. But yeah, and I've been using them for donkey's years. boxes and boxes of wooden pegs that are spun round. I've got a load of them hanging off the cupboard door there, and they come in so handy. They often appear in me videos, me clothes pegs. So, grippers of goodness. So let's just put these bits together. There's a seam down there, or a mould line, so I want to get shot of that. It's just one of those, it's Fox that got me massively into de-seaming, and I get it, because he did a build and it was 1 millimetre of tiny seam that he had forgot to scrape, and he spotted it and it drove him nuts, bless him, until he went back in and redone it. And he said to me on an off-air chat, you know, you may think you've got them all, just get them, just grab them all, because you'll always leave one tiny bit thinking it won't get seen, and it will. And I did that on my bus build. There was a seam, I thought, never going to see that again, and it stuck out like a good one. So in the end I had to de-seam it and repaint that corner because it just drove me mad. So yeah, it's worth doing, folks. Right, let's grab these little bits and bobs now. Start getting all the finicky fiddly stuff off. And there's a little canister there that goes on the side of that. Done. Okay. Sub-assemblies always works for me. Quick little look at the destructions just to see what's next. Have I done that? Yeah, let's get that off. Get shot of that. That'll go on a clip. Let's grab some more. That's for the chain. That's the centre hub for the chain. So I might as well put that on and join that together, because that'll all get painted together anyway, and then I can go around and detail it. Just make sure I'm orientating it on the right side there, folks. So I've got my instructions and I'm off shot again. I am so sorry. Slap me with the wet mitten. You can freeze a mitten and post it to Helgum35. But no, I just want to make sure that I'm building it right. So my magnifier's just to the left there. So because we've all done it, you think, oh yeah, it goes in that way, and you put it on there, and then you look at the instructions and you go, oh, it's the wrong way round, doll. Yeah. So I like to make sure. So I got into the habit of having the magnifier there, and yeah. Dum, da, da, dum. Let's have a look. We got. Let's get some more clips, and then get some more bits and bobs off the sprues here. We really are running out of stuff on these sprues now, folks. It's looking very likely that we might even be able to get the priming in on this episode. I'll just have a look at what bits I can do, and then if it comes to it, I can chop my sprues down into small bits and put them on, and we can probably head over to the spray booth. So we'll just carry on, just getting rid of any nubs, marks, mould lines off of these covers, because they're going to be black, so it will show. It really will show, folks. So spend a bit of time, put the work in at this stage, and it will reap benefits at the latter stage. I reckon we can prime. So let's get some priming done, folks. So I've got my Ultimate Apex all set up, and I'm using a bit of UMP grey primer, peeps. And I'm just going to mist over a few coats of primer onto the bits and bobs. I've sectioned my sprues down as well, as you can see. So let's just bung a bit more in there. Shake your primer up, and I spray it straight from the bottle. No thinning, nothing. You don't need to do that. And I'm spraying it at about 30 to 35 psi. And I'm just misting it over, doing a tack coat, letting it go off a bit, and then I'll go in and I put on a couple of wet coats and just get everything covered with the grey. And then I can see any seams, any additional areas that I may need to go back and just put a little more work into to finesse. And it acts as a guide coat for me, so yeah. So you'll see white primer going down on bits. You'll see bits where the grey's been sanded back in the next episode. It's purely because I've gone back in and done some extras. So I'll talk you through that in the next episode, peeps. But for the moment, I'm just literally everything I've assembled so far is going in the spray booth. It's going to be grey primed. All the upper body panels, petrol tank, all of that lot's going to be done in grey primer. And then I can go back and finesse everything. So we'll just carry on and get this on there. And this is a progressive needle in this airbrush. It starts off at 0.3 and then works its way back to 0.5. And I've modified my apex as the eagle idle spot. I've got a nut with a screw in the end of it on the end, and I use it as a needle stop because I haven't got that dexterity to sit and hold an airbrush needle at a certain point. My fingers don't let me do it, so I modified mine and put a needle stop on it. And for me, it's just a little modification that helps Festa, because I can just pull the trigger back with all my finger might, knowing that I'm not going to go too mad and overspray anything. So it's just something I've done on mine. Make sure the primer's coming out, and then we just work our way around everything. Give it a nice bit of coverage. Oh, a little bit of tip dry there, Cole. Let's just clean that off. There you go. Perfectly normal. Happens to us all. And I'm spraying in a really, really warm room as well, folks. I've got the boiler in here. My main media server computer, my gaming PC, my fish tank and 2 3D printers. So it does get a bit toasty in here. And obviously with all the compressors going and everything. So I do suffer from tip dry on me needles quite often. Let's get the framer going over. Put a bit more primer in. There you go. Let's just clean that out. There you go. And that's all I do. A little bit of primer in at a time. And then if I get a lot of tip dry, I just put a little bit of airbrush cleaner in. Spray it through. And then start again. And look at that. That is going on gorgeous. Gorgeous. It's going on so well, I want to take it out on a date and spoil it. Look at that. Hey. Gotta love it. There you go. That's what we're talking about. Bish, bash and bosh. Have you a look at that? There you go. Put a bit more in. Yeah. Whoa. I know, folks. I'm easily pleased, didn't I? But yeah, these are little spray booths that you can get. You can get them off of auction sites, and I think eModels might sell a spray booth. I'm not 100% certain, folks, but check out their website just in case. But pretty much everything else I'm using at the moment has come from them. So, but yeah. And mine, I've got an underbench extractor I built in a duct underneath me bench, so I just drop out my pot holder. My vent goes into that, and then I've got one of those shower vents that you would normally put in a bathroom to exhaust condensation out through your roof. I've got one of them under the bench, and it fires up and it basically draws everything out straight through the wall. It's brilliant. And that's why I'm able to have resin printers and that in here, because on the back of those I've got adapters that I 3D printed that also go into this same ducting system. So helps me no end, because this little room, you know, is pretty full. And I don't want to get overcome with fumes if I can help it. And I am wearing a respirator as well, folks. Even though I'm talking, I'm voicing over this. But when I was shooting this, even though it's acrylic paints and that, I still wear my full face respirator. So that's on as well. All my fans are on, all my desk exhaust system's on. So yeah, windows and doors open. You've got to be safe. You only get one set of lungs in this life, and you want to, you know, look after them. You'll notice that I joined the belly pan together as well, folks, because there was a nasty seam when I dry fitted it, and I just thought, no, I'll glue it together and yeah, get rid of the seam that way. So that's what I've done. Yeah, try not to blow it over, Cole. Let's find somewhere I'll put that clip that ain't going to be too visible. Yeah, that'll do for now. There you go. And again, this will let me see whether or not I need to go back and do any extra sanding, buffing and smoothing. So that will be repainted white. Anything that's currently white plastic will end up going back to being white. So bear that in mind. I just need to look at the destructions and how these panels all fit together to decide whether or not I need to join them before I assemble. Scoot round the wheels. Again, a nice contrast against the black, so it'll let me know whether I need to do any more sanding. There you go. Yeah. And you can't go wrong with a Tamiya bike kit, folks. You know, if any of you haven't built a motorcycle, grab yourself one. I've got my eye on an upcoming release coming from Tamiya, which is the MotoGP Suzuki GSX-RR, and it's like, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. That looks absolutely stunning, and it is one of the most beautiful MotoGP bikes currently on the circuit. So yeah, so keep an eye out, folks, because that will be coming up. Look at that, going on a treat. Can't go wrong. Go-to primer. Right, what we got? Got the rear wheel. Let's get that done. Angle it so that I can get inside the spokes as well. So I'll turn the wheel at an angle like that, just to get the inner and outer edges of the spokes. And I still spray the inside, even though it's going to be hidden by the tyre, because sometimes if you don't, the tyre might be slightly narrower than the wheel rim and you end up with a black line round, and it just don't look right. Yeah, especially if it's the Repsol bikes, because they have the orange wheel rims. So yeah, spray up underneath the inside of the mudguard as well. It's an area that a lot of people forget to prime. And then just start doing all the little tiny finicky bits and bobs now. Radiators, rads, fans, all of that sort of thing. Bit of primer in there. And then we can go in and detail all of them at a later stage. Another piece there of the bodywork. Just grey over that. This is the paddock stand that basically wheels underneath the rear swing arm and jacks the bike up, enabling it to be displayed. I'll get that done. All these finicky little bits, so easy to lose as well. You sit there and you think, oh, please don't drop anything. And then obviously the front forks. I'm looking forward to doing them, I must admit. See whether, because I've not got a detail up fork set even for this. I'm doing it as an outer box because not everyone's going to buy the detail up sets, and I'm just going to try and replicate as best I can with ordinary paint. But yeah, they're there if you want to use them. Detail up sets, it's your choice. I've got a few detail up sets for other bike builds that I'm doing, but I like to try and keep these video builds as simple as I can. because I want to aim me work at people just coming into the hobby and building confidence up, and just letting them see that, you know, with a few bits and bobs you can do a nice build. That's the aim of these. And then just have a quick look, see what else is ready to go through, and then we'll nearly be done. A couple of fault bits there, get them sorted. There's the swing arm, looking rather splendid, I must admit. So in the meantime, folks, pop over to eModels, have a look through the categories, have a look at kits, and there's tools and equipment and any bits and bobs that you may or may not need, consumables, paints, you know, have a look, give them a visit, share the love, bung an order in, get yourself one of these bikes if you want, because we're only at the early stages of this build and you can build along with me. Well worth a visit. Lovely team of people up there, and the service I can't fault. It's absolutely top drawer service. So share the love, folks, share the love. They do a lot for the community. So let's just finalise a few bits and bobs, handlebars, grips and all of that, and hopefully by the next episode I might have cleaned my spray booth. You never know, stranger things can happen. Give that a squeeze in there, like so. I could cheat and just prime the entire inside of the spray booth. Be much easier, wouldn't it? Right, what have we got? What have we got left? Let's just have a quick perusal. Not an awful lot by the look of it. A couple of bits and bobs. So let's do the discs, like so. What we got? What we got? Oh, we've got the exhaust. Oh, I am so looking forward to doing them exhausts. Yeah, get all the heat staining on them and all of that lot. I like to go for a nice subtle exhaust, to be honest with you, but we'll look at that in the next episode. But we're close to wrapping this episode up now. So I'll finish by saying thank you all for your support, your time and everything, for watching me videos. Head over to eModels and show the love and support those. They've also got a Facebook page as well, so you can see what upcoming builds there are. And tune in for the Monday eModels show with me, Fox, Chris and Ted. I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode, where we'll be doing final colours. Bye bye for now.